18.
On Overdrive today, we introduce you to Tata Motors' upcoming electric SUV concept, bring you a ride in the Triumph Tiger Sport 660 and sample the new DCT gearbox in the Tata Altroz. Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I am Soini Dutt. Whenever we hear news of Tata Motors unveiling a new product in the market, it is an exciting moment. But what's even more exciting is that we get to know it's an electric vehicle with a range of 400 to 500 kilometers, faster charging times and even connected tech. The Concept Curvv previews the brand's SUV Coupe design. It will be debuting the brand's second generation architecture for electric vehicles, and it will also be an electric vehicle launch first ahead of the ICE. Here's Tuhin with more details.
A new Tata concept car always brings with it a sense of vacation, and the latest of these is the Tata Concept Curvv. Now, the Concept Curvv previews a new design theme for Tata Motors, which is characterized by these sharp lines and these angular surfaces. Now, going forward, all Tata EVs will have a full-length DRL, as you see here. And also another striking feature is this air dam, which is below the car. And this, while it's blanked out here in this quite intricate ridge pattern, will be the grille for the IC versions that follow after the EV. Of course, there's this cluster here for the headlamps, but these will be a more straightforward unit in the production version. Now, the only curve on the Tata Curvv happens to be this quite striking roofline, which gives it that coupe SUV shape. And the curve will be placed above the Nexon in the Tata Motors lineup. And you can see some shades of that SUV here, for example, in the front half of the glasshouse and in this section below it, where this chamfering is again a clear demarcation of the Nexon family. And then below it, of course, you have these large oversized alloy wheels. But of course, for the production version, you can expect them to be downsized, although these striking aero patterns will still be present. And you have those small sort of camera-equipped mirrors. But of course, again, in the production version, you can expect more conventionally set up mirrors. Now, one of the most striking design features at the rear is this high deck lid, which gives the Tata Curvv the space it needs inside, even with the coupe SUV-like shape. And of course, many of the patterns and textures from the front are carried over here, like this full-width DRL. Again, this quite striking lighting element, which doubles up as the high-mounted light, and these curves and sharp finishes on the bottom half and on the boot lid. The new coupe SUV will be based on the Generation 2 architecture from Tata Motors. This is a development of an existing IC architecture, most likely the Nexon's X1 platform that has been heavily optimized to suit more advanced EV powertrains and technology. The Concept Curvv will have a certified range of between 400 to 500 kilometers in its production form from a roughly 50 to 60 kilowatt-hour battery pack. There will also be faster AC and DC charging speeds of up to 60 kilowatt, as well as selectable regen modes and a coasting function. Uniquely, the production EV will also offer V2V and V2L functions. Now, the Tata Concept Curvv previews a completely new interior design theme, and like the outside, you can expect that in the production version as well. And you can see that similar to the outside with the same, clean, minimalistic, simple sort of sharp lines. But most striking is these twin touchscreen setups. The front is of course not a touchscreen, it's an instrument cluster and a big touchscreen in the middle. And you have these sort of typically EV kind of a layout where you have these floating consoles, capacitive touch panels and a wide open space and of course a panoramic sunroof. So you have this airy, large feeling cabin inside. And unlike Tata cars that have come before the EVs, you will get regen modes on the paddles. Of course, this car doesn't have it, but the production version will most likely get mounted paddles. And speaking of paddles, the steering wheel itself is a new design, which will come on future Tata cars with their floating buttons and that lit up Tata logo. And again, that floating theme continues on these door panels. And if you notice these fabrics and these materials, there will be a focus on recyclability and eco-friendliness, and those type of materials will be given focus even in the production version. And And to top this off, we hear the production version of the Curvv will even feature frameless doors and flush door handles. That's got us quite excited. The production version of the Tata Curvv will be launched by early 2024, with the ICE versions to follow soon after. The Curvv will be similar to mid-sized SUVs like the Creta and Aster, but Tata Motors hopes will attract a more premium buyer with its coupe SUV styling and tech functions.
Well, we've already been asked questions about the launch date and the pricing of this Concept Curvv. All we know is it's going to be positioned above the Nexon and it will be launched in 2024. On that note, we'll take a very quick break. On the other side, we tell you all about the Triumph Tiger Sport 660.